Hi there, girls, guys, and gamers. This is Small Archangel. Welcome back to another episode of 7 Days to Die. Today, if you saw my last episode, you'll know that I have been planning on building myself a new base. So we're going to make a new base starting today. I just need those, and I think I can put those back. In the last episode, we were scouting around for a possible location, and I think I found one. We did find a city. Another city, again not a hub city location, but another city, which is about the same size actually, or pretty much exactly the same size as the one we've already visited. But it's going to be a cool new place to loot. Also, there's quite a lot of resources around that area as well. Now, one thing I have not been able to find, we went down south for this, I've not been able to find a suitable source of water yet. Now, in my little bunker here, I haven't had to worry about that. Not least because I've got a lake here and a lake here. It's a funny thing that desert's the only place at the moment that you can actually find lakes, which is just wrong, really. Elsewhere, all you get is these little puddles of water, and there's a load of them around there on the plains, but I'm not sure there's any here. Now, of course, we'll probably be all right with looting the city. We'll probably loot lots of jars of water from buildings and things. Either that, or I'm going to have to place a custom recipe for a toilet, and then I can put a toilet in there, because that's the other thing with my bunker. I've been spoiled recently. It has a toilet in it, so alright, so let's just gas and go for the time being. I think I've got everything that I need for my trip. I certainly hope so, because if I've not, that is going to be very frustrating. It's going to be quite a bad start. Okay, so I have lived in this bunker forever, since the start of Alpha 12, but ow, that's not going to do my bike any good. Nope, that damaged it slightly. Stupid. But yeah, you would, wouldn't you? I mean, it's just such a cool location, and it's suited my needs really, really well to this point. But it's time for moving on, time to do something else now. And with Alpha 13 looming close, it's kind of a case of do it now or lose out and sort of have to start all over again. And it's a good idea to do this. What I've got now, do I need to go this way? Yes, I do. It's all foggy. I can't actually see where I'm going. I can't recognise it. Oh, rain. See, that's another reason I have for wanting to go and move into a forest biome instead of the desert. I don't get to see any of the weather effects where I am in the desert there. So I kind of missed it, and I want to do some more sort of, as I said in the last episode, I want to do a bit more in the frozen biomes as well. Really haven't seen much of them yet. Nope, that didn't destroy it. Shame. Robust stuff, that gore. So my hordes seem to be a little bit broken at the moment. I have them turning up randomly during the day, any old day. But I'm not too worried about that. As I say, we'll soon be starting all over again anyway. Alpha 13's looking pretty sweet, has to be said. I've looked at some screenshots and some news surrounding that, and it's looking pretty interesting. The new zombie models look so creepy. Even if we don't get the mocap animations at the beginning of Alpha 13, they will still look way scarier than they do at the moment. I've kind of almost become immune to them. I'm not even, as scared of the cop as I used to be. Okay, so this was actually my first impression. This area here is pretty flat, and I actually wanted to build my base here, but you can see the problem I've already had. Like, I just came here to scout around, and about 50 Zeds turned up, so I decided a little bit further away was probably going to be a good idea. Oh, there's a bear. I'm sorry, I had to do that. In real life, I brake for animals and even swerve, but in this game, frankly, this has got to be done. No, he's mine. I saw him first. If he was alive, he'd kill you anyway. Okay, never say no to bear meat. It may be stinky, but it's good stuff. You've got to love your bear stew. Okay, I'm going to take these guys out. Oh, come on. all of a sudden I've forgotten how to shoot. You see what I mean? You go anywhere near the city and that's it. Loads of zombies suddenly show up from nowhere, including these guys. Which they still kind of make a burning sound even when you've killed them, which is quite scary because you think they're still there. Oh look, there's still one there. I was going to say, hitting a bear would actually really damage your bike. It actually has. I think in real life it would completely and utterly write it off, but in this game it has done it a little bit of damage. So I'm going to have to repair that up now. So hunting with the bike, probably not the best idea to do very often, but I dare say I won't get that much opportunity. Alrighty then, so you can see my site here. Good, don't drive off without me, thank you very much. What is this? Crossbow bolt. Did I pick that out of a bear? Someone's obviously already taken a pot shot. Alright, so what we've got here, I was looking for a very level bit of ground because this base is going to benefit enormously from being on level ground, for reasons that will probably come more clear as we go. Now at the moment all I've done is, yesterday in game I marked out the area where I wanted to build my base and leveled it and cleared it of grass, because one thing I have found is still buggy is that when you're placing metal frames like this, if you're not careful, if you place them on top of grass, they just hover in an annoying kind of way and then fall down and break, so you lose all and you don't get very much iron back for your trouble. So that's sort of is that right? I think so. So yeah, it's sort of yeah. Is that right? No, we need it to be bigger than that. My corners need to be like 2 by 4, something like that. That's about right, I think. There we go. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let's get building. Oh, that's too far. Oh, for goodness sake. There. Alright, and I've gone too far over that way. Really difficult to see what you're doing from here, actually. It's kind of... want to be able to hover above it, really, to see properly. Alright, I think that's pretty much got my corners in there. Now, this is where I hope to heck I've got enough materials with me, but I should have. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, let's upgrade this. So, of course, we're going to be using my favourite material of concrete. I'll put that there, actually. Because it's just the strongest stuff that we've got at the moment. It might not be, you know, the best looking, but I've been making absolutely loads of it in game, so hopefully we'll have plenty for this. And at this point I have been gathering resources and saving stuff up with this in mind for ages, which is why I say even if I don't get this project finished before Alpha 13 hits, it's still a good time to start it, because yeah, otherwise I have to wait until I'm far enough into Alpha 13 to try it out, and I might have other ideas I want to try out by then. So, case of strike while the iron is hot, really. Okay, so I'm going to take these bits out now. They were just a guide, really, and I've got the main points of the base in place. And what we need to do now is carry on building it up. Now I'm going to be a little bit careful at the moment, because while it's still wet, the concrete really doesn't have very much of a sort of a load bearing capability. So I think while that dries, I might just do, no, I need that. I might just do something else. So if you'll bear with me. There we go. I hear a bear somewhere. Don't think he's close enough to cause any problems. But that was one of the other things that attracted me to this location. I've always been a fan of the wooded locations anyway. They appeal most on a sort of an aesthetic level too, but they're also best for resources. So I've just gathered 92 clay just from digging the foundation out here, and in addition to that we've got loads of lumps of rock here. We've got loads of actual stones, rocks lying around as well, which will give us iron fragments and sometimes I think gunpowder, which is a bit random, but there you go. I'm not sure if that's been changed, but you get all sorts of good stuff out of that anyway. Okay, so the next step that we're going to just do as much of this today as we can. I've got the bike with me, which means that if we set off back for home a little late, it doesn't matter too much. I just need a bit of a step up to get to these probably. That is one of the best things about the bike, really, is the fact that it really kind of effectively lengthens the useful daylight. There we have it. That is pretty much all I intended to do today. So that's good. I've got that done. Mostly the bottom part of it there is now dry as well. I'm hoping that the upper, the lower bit is dry. I'm hoping that the top bit dries off a bit as well by the time I come back to do the rest of the work tomorrow, because we can't really do the rest. In fact, we absolutely can't do the rest until that top section has dried, because the minute I try and put anything more on there now, it will just crash to the ground. So until the forms have come off of concrete, that is as much as we can do. That's all she wrote. So that is it. That is a start. That is the start of our new base, and it's a heck of a load of concrete. Yeah, and a heck of a lot of dead dogs as well. So that's pretty good day's work with at least a dozen dead dogs and 4 enormous concrete pillars. It's starting to take shape, but what shape yet we're not quite sure. So this will be a work in progress, as all good things are. So I'm going to head back to base now and never say no to an egg when you find one. Yeah, if necessary, I will get a look at this 98 wood. I really don't have much left there, do I? Cook myself some more bear stew tonight, and I'll probably have to make some more concrete up and the rest. So getting back to base now will be a very good thing, and then I'll have plenty of prep to do, including repairing my bike after I hit that bear. Yeah, and then back tomorrow, we will be back to it bright and early, or as early as I can contrive to get here without driving through the night, which is just asking for trouble, because they can keep up to the bike. Well, they can't actually when they're running. They're not that fast, really. Yeah, so we'll be back there as soon as we can contrive to finish the job off. Good morning. With the beauty of video editing, it is now the next day, and I have come back bright and early to finish the job. Now, the first thing I'm going to need to do today, well, we've got our 4 pillars of wisdom. Let's just see. I need to build some sort of scaffolding to get up, preferably safely. Okay, that'll do. Because we need yet one more layer up here. And I didn't want to do this yesterday because it was going to be, well, let's do this now and then hopefully it'll be dry when we come to start joining them together. Okay, where's my concrete? I mixed up a load more concrete last night. I'm running out of stone, but I figure this area is going to be a pretty good resource for that. There we go. Right, on to the next one now. Okay, so I'm going to need to do a similar thing here. If I can click in the right place. There we go, that'll do. Except now I can't get up there. Dope. Okay. And be careful when I'm doing this, because the last thing I need is another broken leg. Had quite enough of those for the time being. Thank you very much. Oh, missed one. There we go. Okay, now I think I need to get down for the time being, but I will leave my scaffold there. I'm gonna need these ramp rebar frames I've made now. Okay. And just the other side too. And thankfully these are attaching to dry bits with no forms on them. This is why I'm doing this bit first. Oh, which one have I missed? This one. Okay. Oh. How odd. Somehow managed to auto-fill that one when I didn't mean to. Oh well, I did mean to, but not with the nail gun. That's quite weird. I didn't know you could shoot concrete with nail guns. There we are. That's the lot. Okay, now, while those are doing, I'm not sure if there's anything very much we can do, because I can't really finish off the floor up there until that is dried. So we're probably going to have to just wait a bit. So what I will do, while we're waiting for those to dry, I will just go and grab me one of these rocky nodules, which won't be the most interesting thing ever, but it needs doing. And you can see my superb steel pickaxe in action. I find I can use this for longer as well without getting fatigued, so really is the business for collecting any kind of ore or stone. Well, we seem to have attracted a bit of a horde here. This should be a surprise to no one. It's not really a surprise to me. And there seems to be a bear around here somewhere as well. Really, I'd rather sort of take care of the horde, but if they don't actually know where I am, I'll just ignore them, because our concrete blocks have mostly dried now, and as a result of that, I would quite like to get on with this, because no, I need to put another one there. Never going to get up there at the moment, so I'll have to keep a little bit of an eye out here. I think that should be alright there. Yep, we're okay. There we go. And that is more or less all we need to do at this point. Holding my breath a bit to get off across there. I wasn't absolutely sure it would be able to hold my weight. Since wet concrete isn't exactly a block available in the game, except transitorily, there's no real way of checking what its maximum load is. There we go. And that is pretty much the entire of this section. So again, we've spent a couple of days doing this, and I have spent a lot of today gathering stone, and I gathered myself a couple of boulders worth of iron fragments and things like that, and stone as well, almost without breaking the sweat. So it's really good, this steel pickaxe. I'd recommend it to anyone. Oh dear, I just dropped all my metal strips. Good, they're not out of reach. Okay, so we're going to call this this phase of the project done for now. It's not finished yet. There is actually very little we have to do to finish this phase, but again, till those forms come off the concrete, can't do it, not without the whole shebang collapsing. Therefore, we will be doing that in a later episode. So do tune in for the next episode. I will take these down for the moment. I don't want to leave anything here if I can help it. Bike, there it is, in the long grass. So we're gonna get ourselves out of here before it becomes too hot to handle, and hope again that no hordes attack my new half-built base. Not even a half-built, believe me. Before we, while we're away overnight. Hopefully in the next episode we will get it completed to a point where we'll actually be able to stay there overnight. When you're using reinforced concrete, that the one major drawback with it, apart from the fact that it's expensive material-wise to produce, is that you can't really build with it very stably until the forms have come off the concrete. It does tend to collapse under its own weight, which is something that I've learned the hard way. So I do hope that you guys will join me for the next episode, when we will complete phase 1 of the base, and hopefully it will be taking shape and looking a little clearer as to what I'm thinking, and then we'll see how far we can take it before we're forced to start again. But it should be fun, and I'm looking forward to being able to test out the design, maybe by kiting a horde back from the city, just to see how well my idea works. My ideas don't always work out, but that's half the fun of this game, really. Trial and error. Lots and lots of error. So while I wend my weary way homewards, thank you guys very much for joining me today as ever. Hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more. It won't cost you a penny. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye for now.